It is very important for domestic violence shelters to have computers that allow people of DV to use StatuteFINDER.org because time is of the essence, and we as victims of DV need statute of limitations immediately to go to court, file TROs, and to keep ourselves safe. It has to be more simple, less talking, more acting, which means computers at DV shelters that show people of DV get to StatuteFINDER.org immediately and get your information. To domestic violence shelters, I would say please use StatuteFINDER.org app because it has to be precise, and advocates sometimes didn't have time to talk to me, so I had to wait and I had to do this. Domestic violence shelters need to have computers, more than one. They need to have a computer room and printers, and they need to say, here's this computer, go look at StatuteFINDER.org, because information is important and it has to be at our fingertips. So while they were telling me to apply for food stamps, I'm like, don't really need food stamps. I need safety. I need housing after this. Like food, I could care less. I'll go to a food pantry. But at the end of the day, it has to be correct information because domestic violence is one piece of it. The law is the bigger puzzle. And if you don't have a lawyer to go in with you, the woman has to go in by herself, and the woman has to know what she's talking about. So yes, domestic violence shelters need to update cyber stalking and all these other tools, but yes, bring in StatuteFINDER.org to make it easy for women and men of domestic violence to just nip this in the butt and go get yourself a temporary restraining order. Yes, because they do need this. They do need this. My name is Sonia Owchariw. I'm a survivor of domestic violence, and I am also a woman with a disability called paroxysmal nocturnal hemoglobinuria. And I am a local award-winning journalist with over 20 years of experience in New Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania. I came across StatuteFINDER.org because I was sexually assaulted, and because I didn't report it immediately, I didn't process it, I didn't know where to go, I didn't call the police, I didn't do anything of that nature. It wasn't until I got into a domestic violence shelter that I started talking to advocates, and I realized I got to report this rape. And then that's when I went to Statute Finder, and then I found out in New Jersey there is no statute of limitation for sexual assault and or rape. Statute of limitation is when you are out of time to file a crime. Each state is different. For example, I just looked up in New Jersey where the sexual assault happened. There is no statute of limitation, thank God. Again, statute of limitations can put pressure on women when they run out of time, realizing they should have done something at the time. But processing the emotions of domestic violence is not 1, 2, 3, as people see on television. It is a journey of pain, struggling, and accepting what someone did to you against you. Well, I'm on social media and I was looking for information. And of course, when I was in the domestic violence shelter in New Jersey, and none of the advocates could help me because you have to talk to a legal advocate. There's a lot of things people don't understand. You get into a domestic violence shelter, but then you speak to an advocate, but the advocate is not the legal advocate. And then the legal advocate is a lawyer, but can only help you with temporary restraining orders and doesn't really give you much legal advice to navigate through the court system. It was my background in journalism that pushed me on the internet, pushed me towards social media. And then through TikTok and other means, I was able to find StatuteFINDER.org. And then I knew what I had. I had a tool. I had a search engine. And 1, 2, 3, I put in what happened to me. And then all of a sudden I got New Jersey statute. And then I saw what I was up against, which was, all right, no statute of limitations for sexual assault. Let's get the ball rolling and let's go get a temporary restraining order. But in New Jersey, it's called SASPA. In New Jersey, when you file sexual assault, you're connected with other resources for sexual assault counseling. So it's not just domestic violence. I ended up homeless. Then I ended up sexual assault. And then it's these abusers wreak havoc, and then the court has to see specific timeline, proof, and then the woman is victimized all over again. The Statute Finder app helped me to just fine tune it to exactly what I needed to know, that I was not at a statute of limitations, that I could go to court, that I could file a temporary restraining order, and I could be heard first by a mediator, then by the judge, and, keep that process going. So Statute Finder, the app, made it simple, succinct, and less stressful, because domestic violence shelter where I was at, 2 of them in New Jersey, none of them could tell me statute of limitation or not. And the app made it more precise, easy at a stressful moment. Yes, the Statute Finder app did tell me what to do in terms of court. I was able to screenshot NJSA, which is the code for sexual assault, for also, I believe there was some cyber stalking too, and stalking. So I had different categories. As a journalist, I wanted the codes, because then when I went to court, it was, Your Honor, here's my codes. And so Statute Finder, flawless. I didn't have to go to the internet. I went straight to statutefinder.org. Going to court is not fun. And it opened up my eyes to realize what had been done to me. And it made me feel less responsible and stop blaming myself. So it showed me how much an abuser can abuse a woman, and then the woman is gaslighted badly, where she's left with no decency in a way. So Statute Finder kind of got me back on my foot to claim my power back and empower me to say, no, I now know the law. I know what happened. I can forgive myself for being in this relationship, but still continue to heal, because for me, it continues to be a process to heal. As a journalist, I'd like to make a difference because of some of the ways I was turned away from so many people who didn't believe me. And I'm a survivor, so I'd like to do more with it. It's important for a survivor like myself to have statutes, because a sexual assault, the way I process that, the way I move forward from that, to know that I could still go and address it. It was courageous on my part, especially with a woman of a disability and my handicaps and limitations. But to go to court and to say, this man sexually assaulted me, it was critical. So to have this at my fingertips, it was like, no, I am going to address this. And that's what I was able to do, was take my power back. Oh, with statutefinder.org, I believe this should be in every domestic violence shelter, as well as a test called danger assessment and danger lethality assessment. People of domestic violence have to be educated that the minute something happens, a threat, violence, sexual assault, when a person goes to the police, it's very important to know that sometimes the police are not on our side as DV, and sometimes we need to speak to a DV respond team instead.